Hi, I'm Adriana Delor. I'm an expert in social influence, formerly sought after by some of the most powerful leaders of companies like IBM and Verizon, who were eager to dive into the science of people to create extraordinary outcomes. Today, I'm going to give you my expert tips on how to make the improbable and unlikely tangible and attainable. Think about some of the greatest achievements in history: landing on the moon, breaking the sound barrier, creating the internet. At one point, these are all considered improbable, even impossible. But what made them attainable? Let's explore three powerful forces. Force number one, conviction as a form of influence. Everything starts with a rock-solid belief. Think about the Wright brothers, two brothers who are credited with flying the first heavier-than-air human flight. They were ridiculed for believing that humans can fly, but their unwavering conviction fueled their pursuit and ultimately led to one of the greatest inventions of all time. This conviction is the bedrock of any improbable achievement. Imagine you're walking down the forest in a group of people and you're lost. You're all lost. And all of a sudden, one of you starts charging forward in some direction, convinced that this is the right way. You feel an urge to follow them, right? In business, this conviction gets you supporters, investors, employees, and customers. And in your personal life, this conviction gets you courage, boundaries, and self-esteem. It gets you a great career and loving relationships. Point is, if you believe something, people will follow you. And so many psychological experiments prove this. But of course, belief alone is not enough. You also need force number two. It's freedom to not do. Let's take the Wright brothers. They didn't have a manual. They didn't have a formula. They had kind of an unstructured approach. And an unstructured approach is a tough thing to commit to, whether in business or in our personal life, because as a business, budgets are tight, and the biggest priority is always the profitability of the current business. So you think about structure and frameworks. As an individual, whether it's career or relationships, each one of us is fighting against time. So structure seems key. In both scenarios, being unstructured seems inefficient. However, if we use the same structure, the same molds that we've always used, we will only end up where everybody else has already been. When we abide by structure and simply just action, we resist anything that doesn't fit those molds. Eckhart Tolle, a best-selling author, talks about this in his dissections of the nature of reality. You see, attaining the unlikely and improbable requires doing less. It requires unoccupied space and time for the subconscious, for the circumstances, for the patterns of the world to emerge in front of us, and for us to have the space to notice them. And finally, force number three, courage as a psychological phenomenon. This word courage seems kind of fluffy, like, okay, have courage, right? But really the word courage is actually about the psychology of people. Courage, from a psychological perspective, isn't simply the absence of fear. It's a complex interplay of cognitive, emotional, and behavioral processes that allow individuals to act. Whether acting as an individual or influencing others to act, the art of creating courage in yourself or in others is the same as influencing people to act. So we've explored three powerful forces today: the influence of unwavering belief, the power of unstructured space, and the psychology of courage. These forces, when combined, create a powerful engine for achieving the improbable. They remind us that the limitations we perceive are often self-imposed. Find me on LinkedIn or on my website, adrianadelor.com. I love to speak on stage and on camera, so please let me know about your next event.